Hi everybody, I'm April Diebert, multimedia blogger slash producer in the Office of Digital and Design Innovation for the Broadcasting Board of Governors. And today I'm joined by Bruce Bahmani. He is a Voice of America writer and blogger. And today we're going to be talking about social media use in Iran. Hi Bruce. Hi,
how are you?
Good. So talk to me, we just had the 3rd anniversary of the Green Revolution in Iran. What's changed? Has anything changed? Technically,
first of all, it's not the Green Revolution. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. All it was the Green Movement. It was basically the color green from the losing side of the election, which was the Mousavi Karoubi ticket that was kind of sort of on the moderate side. They became kind of like the designated champion for the youth movement and the youth sort of market and the youth community in Iran. Iran's a very young population, so they kind of just sort of gravitated towards Mousavi Karoubi ticket away from Ahmadinejad, which sort of everybody kind of thinks is kind of the squares. And so the government, the flag of Iran is based on the red, white, and green, and so the government picked, because white's boring and you can't really make a T-shirt out of white T-shirts, so they picked the red for the Ahmadinejad team, and then green became the designated team color for the Mousavi Karoubi campaign. And so that's how it got the color green. It was just a chance color. They could have been the Red Revolution or the Red Movement just as easily, but they got the green color. And so that kind of gave them an identity. And then the youth kind of gravitated away from the squares and what what your father and your grandfather and your uncle kind of leaned towards with the Ahmadinejad side, more conservative, more what's business as usual. And then the youth kind of just sort of gravitated toward Mousavi Karoubi because they were kind of the outsiders. And this is all designed by Khamenei to give the election, some stimulation and, vigor and vitality. He wanted this to happen, but then what happened as a result of the election counting backfired on him, and then it turned into a full-blown, series of protests, and then after that it became violent, and then it sort of got out of control. So where we are today, 3 years later, we are 1 year away from the next election in which Ahmadinejad cannot run anymore. He's done his 2 terms, and so now the question is, what is Khamenei going to pick out for everybody this time around? And basically, what kind of a candidate is he going to give? And has he learned his lessons from trying to kind of make it a little bit too exciting? And I believe what's going to happen now is he's going to offer up a compromise candidate. This will be a candidate who is, on the one hand, young-looking, cool, and takes care of the youth, desires, and at the same time, they're going to really clarify that he is a party line, do as you're told kind of guy, and he doesn't have any, aspirations for any kind of funny business. And so they've learned from Ahmadinejad stepping off the reservation every now and then that they got to control the president a little bit more. So it's kind of sad because there is no movement, there is no more chance that anything will really go wrong this time around because they really learned their lesson from how things can get out of hand on the last one. For example, if you get caught in Iran doing anything political, you're banned from going to college. Not for the quarter, not for the week. You don't get suspended like in high school for, stitching class. You can't go to college ever again. You're banned for life. So that's why they have to then try to sneak out of the country, come to the United States, go to wherever they can get a degree. Usually now it's places like Malaysia, which has a lax entrance visa issue, just so they can finish their education. Since the 2009 election, they've really clamped down on all the media, all the social media, all the Twitter, all the Facebooking, every little text message that goes in and out of Iran is completely monitored for any kind of slightest, indication. And then what they do is they just kind of, pick you up and take you in for questioning if, some weird text message appeared on your phone or you happen to send one. The government of Iran knows every single message that goes in and out of Iran. Every single text message on every single phone is completely monitored and controlled and viewed and analyzed to see if, okay, I sent a text message to April and she sent it on to her friend Susie, and she sent it on to her friend Bob, and they'll pick up all of us, take us in for questioning to make sure that we know, or that they know everything that we are about, and that we don't do it again. It's interesting, the effect of media and the effect of, especially social media and the whole social idea. But in Iran, really, honestly, social media is not about, political change. Social media is about social media, meaning, I don't know why, but this is funny, I got to send it to you, and oh yeah, that was hilarious, here's mine back to you, and the whole deal. They just don't have time. And the government's too good at spotting anybody who's doing anything funny, and they just pick them up and they talk to them and they chastise them and they give them a good talking to, and making sure that you shouldn't be doing this, Johnny. Come on, man, you should be having fun with your life. What are you wasting your time trying to do this kinds of stuff? These are bad behaviors. And they really scold them and they tell them in a very school marmy kind of way to not do that anymore. And then at the extreme levels, they'll arrest them and they'll put them in jail, and then there's the whole court case and the beatings and the torture, and then possibly an execution or something like that. But almost none of that's happening now. They've been really good at intimidating the kids away from this kind of funny business. And I think they've seen from the 2009 election exactly how it could backfire. They don't want those scenes. They don't want that video. They don't want those pictures. They want their kids to be fat, happy, and out of politics. I think it's parties. I think everything is Iranians, especially in the capital city, in Tehran, and in some of the bigger cities. The youth are, they're youth. They just want to hang out, and they want to meet girls, they want to meet guys, and they want to have parties, and they want to go to this friend's house and that friend's house. Summer in Tehran is a lot of fun. So what happens in Iran is you've heard a lot of things like the Iranians blog a lot. That's kind of a way of venting your frustration. You just kind of write your conditions. But the other thing that's happening is that the kids are sort of doing the social media for just social media purposes, not for political activism. They know the fine line between crossing that political line and just, hey, what's up? I don't know, what's up with you? Oh, OMG, did you see what she was wearing? I mean, that's what their kids are doing. And so it's really back to basic social media in the sense of socializing rather than actually, trying to evoke any sort of political change. The people who are interested in political change in Iran are the 40-somethings. These are the people who didn't get killed in the war, were too young to have fought in a war, but now they're reaching a sort of a middle stage of life where they kind of want to know what the future's about. The youth are like, where's the next party? What's going on? Let's play some music and let's have a good time. Let's enjoy ourselves. We're young. Why should we waste our time worrying about older people's problems? And how can I make some money? So it's kind of like the government is sitting pretty right now because they've got the youth occupied with being young and happy. Things are pretty good in Iran in terms of, there's no war. A lot of things are available. Prices are a little higher because of the sanctions, and this is why a lot of Iranians and a lot of Iranian bloggers like myself are against sanctions, because it doesn't serve any purpose to put pressure on the youth when the system doesn't allow them to do any kind of change. There is no mechanism that allows the youth to get involved in government or politics or any kind of civic life. So all we're doing is just making them angry by saying, oh, you can't have anything because America is upset, and then their answer is, and this just came to me from a friend who just got back from Iran visiting for the summer. He said they're getting really upset at America because they're saying, you haven't done anything to help us for the past 33 years, and now you're making our lives even worse by taking it out on us. The rich people in Iran, they've got their ways of getting their money out and getting around the sanctions, and they're always going to make it. We're the ones who have to pay the price on the streets. And why is all of a sudden America deciding now, after 33 years, that they want to get involved, and then getting involved like this? For example, the U.S. will say that all sanctions are working, and some of the opponents of Iranian regime outside of Iran are saying, yeah, more, we want to put pressure on them. And then you've got Khamenei going on to Friday prayer saying, you know what? Sanctions are good. I think we should embrace the sanctions because it'll teach us to be self-reliant. I mean, why should we import everything? Why don't we become self-sufficient on agriculture and food and everything else? We've got all this land, we've got all this beautiful country, and we've got all this beautiful people who are willing to work hard. You know what? I like sanctions. Sanctions are great. So he pumps people up in the wrong way. And here in the West, we'll write a report, or there'll be a news media analyzing just how hard the sanctions are hitting, a couple IRGC guards who can't get their cash out. And unfortunately, that doesn't play inside Iran. What the people in Iran hear is, okay, you know what? I better give the government a little bit more room. We all have to buckle down because America just doesn't get us. We don't hear that translation of that speech, having Khamenei almost on the same side as Obama saying, yeah, sanctions are good for Iran. That's never going to come out. And so it's important for media like yours and the real sort of the on-the-ground media to really hear and listen to what's being said inside Iran rather than just go for the political rhetoric that the sides seem to want to promote. There was a recent study done that was confirmed by a buddy of mine who just went to Iran, and 20% of the older generation who remember the United States in a fond way watch VOA. Another 20% are of that same older generation who remember England in that fond way, because England and the U.S. always have had sort of presence in Iran and a various cultural effect on a whole generation. Those are the older generations that remember those days. The younger generation has no clue about America or England ever being involved in Iran at all, so they have no basis of understanding. So those two older generations, the older English folks and the older American fans, they watch VOA because they just trust the brand. Anything American is good, anything British is good. I don't know why, but I just watch it and I dig it. And those are the top end of the retiree generation that isn't going to go out in the march in the streets, isn't going to go anything. And then occasionally the youth then watch this sort of reruns of American sitcoms and things that give them an insight into American social cultural life. What kind of outfits, what kind of fashion, what kind of attitudes, what kind of words. So, for example, buzzwords are creeping into Iranian language. English buzzwords, American buzzwords, and so they basically, they have all kinds of the latest terminology creeping into the language because of these media. The other thing is the government doesn't block a lot of the shows as much as it's been reported, because the main real concern of Iran right now is pornography on the internet and on and obviously any satellite that comes through. Iran is a big pornography problem. The government of Iran might block VOA for a while, for a day or two, depending on what we say on Parazit today. But there's 10 million pornography websites that the government of Iran is trying to block. The main argument and the main purpose that Iran has announced that they're working on shutting out the internet or creating a Iran umbrella internet is to protect against pornography. It isn't about the political commentary that might be coming out of VOA or BBC or any of the other sites. They actually think those are hilarious because it's so far off the reality sometimes that it's just a bunch of conspiracy theories and the people don't even watch it. The number one show in Iran right now is kind of like is actually reruns of How I Met Your Mother. After that, it's Friends. Those are the shows that Iranians watch for the most part. And then they love documentaries. They love documentaries because documentaries are informative, they're educational, they're usually well made, and they're a lot of fun to watch, and you can get a lot of material and a lot of education just by watching a documentary. So Iranians are starved for that, so they like to watch documentaries. I think a lot of governments and a lot of publications and a lot of straight traditional media, they really give Iran a lot of credit for being a legitimate government. And what they need to do is everyone needs to hold Iran's feet to the fire and really expose and show exactly how retarded and how crazy some of these ideas are. That all the power, decision-making power, can be in the hands of one person, yet they would have the audacity to call themselves a democracy, that they would create this kind of sham election where basically, Santa Claus decides who we're going to vote on this year, and then basically gives us those two people, gives a color to them so we wear the T-shirts, and then we're blind and we're stupid and we go and we pick these guys. And then at the end of the day, the person we pick can't do anything. He can't represent us. He can't even advocate for us. He's not a leader. He can't declare war. He doesn't have the military reporting to him. He can't do anything in the country. And we're supposed to all believe that this is a republic, that this is an Islamic republic, and that this is some sort of Islamic version of democracy. This is not. This is complete tyranny. This is complete oppression. And I think Western media really needs to focus on the details of how Iran works so that they can really expose and, expose light on this so that Iran doesn't get off scot-free by claiming that it has an election, just like the American election.
Thank you, Bruce. I really appreciate you speaking with us.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks.